What advantages will learning NLP give you? Keep watching. This is Life Mastery Gym. I'm Damon, and I teach people just like you cutting edge NLP processes and techniques so that you can master your life and take charge of your destiny. So if that sounds good, make sure you click that subscribe button right down here so that you can get these videos on a regular basis. So you want to learn NLP, or maybe you don't know if you want to learn NLP because you're not sure what's it all about and what are the advantages of learning NLP. By the end of this video, you will know why you want to learn NLP. And if you're already learning NLP, you're going to be a lot more motivated to keep learning it. And if you're really interested in learning NLP, you're going to love what I have for you at the end of the video, but I'll give you a little hint. If you look in the description below, you will see that there's a link, and that link might just have some free training that I'm going to be doing live next week, a 3-part training. Just saying, I'll talk a little bit more about it a little bit later in the video. I've been practicing and studying NLP for several years, and also I've been teaching and coaching people for several years using NLP. And over those years, I've found numerous advantages to having NLP skills. And what's wonderful is I continue to find more and more advantages as I continue to practice. So I'm going to share some of those with you right now. When people think of learning NLP and learning NLP to have some sort of advantage, I think most people think an unfair advantage. And some people don't like that, so they don't learn NLP. Some people do like that, so they learn NLP looking for that unfair advantage. And that's usually like in sales and influence and persuasion. And yes, NLP can certainly help you with those things. Unfair, what's really unfair? If you do your homework, you study, you understand people very well, and you can communicate very, very well, I don't think that's unfair. If you're messing with people's minds and you're tricking them and you're telling them one thing when you really are going to do another, so in other words, you're using deception and lying, that's unfair, and I don't recommend that. And most people who teach NLP don't recommend that, but that seems to be a driving motivation for some people. If that's your motivation here, no, that's not good. That's going to come back to you, and it's going to come back to you in all the worst ways. Let's not look for unfair advantages, but let's look for advantages. And one of the advantages of learning NLP is, yes, you will become more persuasive, more influential, because you understand people better. You also you will learn to have a much better understanding and more clarity about what it is that you want, and that alone will draw you toward what it is that you want, and it'll have the effect of seeming to show up in your life. But the truth is it's showing up because you're noticing it and you're gravitating toward it. And not only are you doing that on a conscious level, but you're also doing it on an unconscious level. And that's part of how we, with using NLP, can program our minds. And when you program your mind, you're basically saying, you're creating a program, a desire for something, you're connecting a strategy to it, you're clear about it, you're focused, you're going after it. The program then goes unconscious. And when it's unconscious, it becomes even more powerful. If you think about your automatic habits that you don't think about, you just do, those are more powerful than the ones you are conscious of. So learning how to be more persuasive, more influential, and then creating unconscious habits and making all of it unconscious so that you just naturally do these things. This is one of the hallmarks of learning NLP. And the truth is, a lot of people are drawn to NLP because of the promise of being more persuasive and more influential and being able to make more money and achieve goals. But what a lot of people find, especially if they stick around NLP and they go deeper with it, is that that's only the surface. I mean, you're just scratching the surface if you're only focused on that area of persuasion and influence, because there's so much more to NLP. The greatest thing that NLP has to offer is what I've already mentioned, the greater understanding of yourself and the greater understanding of other people. And with that comes greater persuasion and influence, the better you understand people. So that kind of goes along with it. But most people are really impatient and they just want to learn techniques. And that's fine. You can learn techniques, you can get good at some techniques, and that'll make you better at sales. That'll make you more persuasive and more influential. But if you want to take this to a level where you don't even have to think about it, it's just sort of happening, that's where you want to go really deep with NLP and understand the internal structures within yourself that are creating your reality, so that when you change those structures or you make any changes to it, they're well thought out, they're very conscious, and you follow through on them. And it has the kind of effect in your life that makes it better, makes it more meaningful, makes it more purposeful, makes you happier. And when you understand that within yourself, that automatically generalizes to other people. Okay, well, how do I sell this person on whatever it is that I want to sell them on? Well, if I understand who they are and what they want, and I can connect who I am and what I want with that, there's nothing stopping me. And so, and then it also becomes a much gentler thing. It's not a, I'm taking advantage of someone sort of thing. It's, or an unfair advantage. It's, we're connecting and I'm helping this person get what they want so that I can get what I want. And that creates a bond, it creates an association, a friendship, possibly a partnership. I could spend the next several hours listing all of the advantages to understanding yourself better and understanding people better. But I think that's a better exploration for you to have. Explore that, use NLP to explore that. Don't only use NLP to explore that. There's lots of other great things out there like meditation and mindfulness. But understanding NLP gives you that structural level. It gives it a content-free process and structure level that most other methodologies do not use. And this is one of the things that makes NLP so unique. Understanding yourself from not your story that you're telling yourself, but understanding yourself from the actual structures that hold everything in place inside of the way that you think, the structures of your mind, and especially the structures of your unconscious. When you start tapping into that, then you start being able to exert an enormous amount of influence over yourself, your own life, and then of course, like I said, it carries on to how you influence other people. So to summarize, NLP will give you an incredible understanding about how you've become who you are. It will give you an incredible understanding of how your life is what it is, why it is what it is, whether that's a great life, a bad life, or somewhere in between. And the same thing with yourself. If you're unhappy with yourself, or if you are happy with yourself, or somewhere in between, NLP will give you the understanding of how that came together, how that all happened. And with that understanding, then you can decide to do something different. You can make different choices. You can create a vision of who you want to be and how you want your life to be, project that vision onto the world around you, create a strategy around it, identify any limitations like limiting beliefs, learn how to overcome those, and really step into that ideal you, the person who you want to become in order to create the life that you want to live. And that is how it happens. But without understanding this, without understanding how to know how this all happened, and without understanding how to change it and how to overcome those beliefs, we're kind of just scrambling in the dark. And that's a lot of how I felt before I learned NLP. When I learned NLP, it was like turning on one light bulb after another, just lighting the way through a very dark hall or dark space, and the lights are still going on. I don't think this ever really ends, and I hope it doesn't, because this is the NLP journey and I'm loving it and enjoying it. And I invite as many people as possible to do it, to enjoy it, to love it, and that's basically why I do these videos. So the advantages of learning NLP are infinite, and the most important advantage is understanding who you are and how you create the life you're living. And if you want to take that deeper, if you want to know more about that, that's what this free training that I'm offering next week is all about. Now, I don't know when you're watching this video. If you're watching it the week that it was created, then it's next week that we're doing the training, but maybe you're watching this video much later. And so in that case, the training will be already over. But if it's not, and it's available right now, you want to jump on this right away. It probably will fill up because it is free, and it'll be stretched over 3 days. It'll be a 3-part training. I wanted to break it down, make it as simple as possible, and give you something really useful that you can take away with you. So go to the description right down below. You'll find the link. Click that link, enroll, and make sure you show up on time. If you like this video, make sure you click the thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and get these videos on a regular basis. Last but not least, if you know of a friend or a family member who you think would really enjoy this video, make sure you share it with them. Take care.